Hi everyone, welcome to Human Biology. We're in week number 3. We're going to be talking about cells, and I'm Professor Gustin. I just wanted to talk just a minute or two about the answers that I got from the lab quiz from week 1. And the last question on the quiz was, tell me a little bit about yourself. And a lot of people chose to tell me things. A lot of people gave me really minimal information, but some people told me interesting things, and I thought I'd tell you a little bit about your classmates. In class, we have a lot of students that are coming right out of high school, but we have just as many students that have had a few years or decades out of school. So we have a great variety of students. We have students that live at home with their parents still, and we have students that are grandparents. So a lot of people told me about their kids. I loved it when people used words about their loved ones, like saying, tell me about their awesome kids, or their kids are their biggest blessing, or telling me about their beautiful kids. And those of you that didn't have kids, a lot of you told me about your pets, and I heard a lot about pets and pet names, and multiple people in class have a real dedication to animal welfare and caring for pets. And I think a lot of all of that, it's consistent with the fact that a lot of the students in this class are doing the class as nursing prerequisites. And so it's kind of selecting for people that are very compassionate and caring. Not everybody wants to go into nursing, though. We have a lot of education majors, some psychology majors, some people that are just exploring and trying to figure out what should they do next. I had 2 people tell me, I'm in healthcare right now, and I know I really don't want to do that, so I'm trying to figure out what else is out there. So there's all different reasons why people take this class. I have many people in the class that identified as having full-time jobs. And a lot of those students are also full-time students. So being organized and trying to get everything done is a real challenge. I had a couple people mention that they're changing careers, and it's a big deal when you've been working in a job for a while and you want to change careers, and you have the courage and the family support needed to help you get to the next step. And so, all sorts of things like that. A lot of you made me laugh when I asked people for their nicknames. One person told me that I could come up with a nickname for them if I chose. A lot of people didn't have nicknames, which is understandable. And one person says probably most often they like to be called Mom. So some of us with a lot of kids, that happens too. So, and we had one student in the class that identified as at one time holding the world record for being the youngest person on the planet. Think about that one. So you guys made me laugh, you made me smile, and I'm just so grateful to have all of you in class. And one of the things I just like to remind you is reach out if you need help. Call me. I had a meeting with a student this week that we just talked. They just wanted to have a conversation with their instructor, and that's fine with me. We did it virtually. So please reach out if you need help, or you just want me to get to know you a little bit, or you want to get to know me. And so that's my little bit of intro, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about week number 3. And so there's the intro video. I have another video that's around 2.5 minutes, and it talks about exam number 1. Please listen to that. It might give you a little inspiration on how to get a good grade on exam number 1, which is next week. It's during week 4. While I'm thinking about that, I will give you information about the exam and what's on the exam in the introduction to week 4. But just the bottom line, it's a big, long multiple choice test. It's on the lecture material from weeks 1, 2, and 3. So between looking at this video and then looking at the video introducing week 4, you should have a good idea of what's going to be on exam number 1 in week 4, not week 3. In week 3, we have a lecture study guide on cells. You're going to find the lecture study guide is relatively short. And a lot of you have heard of cells and gotten this information in classes, particularly in high school. But there's a couple topics I think a lot of people find challenging, and specifically those are osmosis and metabolism. So again, if you need some extra help with those, reach out. Here's the lecture video. So remember, get your lecture study guide, print it out, and then you're going to fill it in. And the best way to fill it in is by watching these lecture videos. And you'll notice the videos go right along with the book. But notice I stuck an extra one down here. Lecture video section 3.3, right there. But then I did another one. And I put this on here when I realized students were, some students were really struggling with osmosis. Some students were really struggling with osmosis. We do, when you get to the lab handout, we do labs. We talk about osmosis again, and we do some virtual labs on osmosis. But if you're not understanding it quite well, I recommend watching this video. If you do this osmosis video and you do the lab and you understand osmosis, you might not need this. But this one I just elaborate a little bit more and try to help you out with it. So this video is, I would say, essentially optional. So once you watch the videos, you're going to do the adaptive learning lecture assignment, and that's your McGraw-Hill thing where it asks you all the questions. And then I recommend going to the lab handout. So remember, again, print out the lab handout. There's a whole bunch of virtual labs. Here they are. I'm going to remember the little clicks here. You're going to do all the virtual labs. And then once your lab handout's filled in, you're confident with your answers, you can use that lab handout to take the lab quiz. That's what we're doing this week. You're trying to get ready for exam number 4 in week 4. Like I said, it's on exam 1, 2, 3. Also, remember that this week it is I wanted you to make sure that you finish the Respondus practice quiz. Remember, I posted the Respondus information in week 2, and you need to take a Respondus practice quiz, and that was due with the week 3 material. Okay? Get that resolved at the beginning of this week, because if you're having problems with Respondus, you want to have a plan soon. Your goal is going to be to take exam number 1 at the beginning of week 4. That's what I'm going to recommend. Not that you can't take it at the end, but I'm going to recommend you take exam number 1 at the beginning of week number 4. Therefore, you want to make sure you're good at Respondus during week 3. Okay? So far, so good. Maybe I'll get to talk to some of you guys this week. I hope week 3 goes well for you. Take care.